where are you now? I don't know how much you can reveal about the case, but where are you now in your legal
Well, the
troubles?
struggle is continue to be struggling around this question of lawyers. It really is a kind of serious issue. I mean, we're talking to, I think you may have been helpful in at least having a lawyer that we can talk to. So we're involved in that. And we have had a meeting. I don't know if you were in that meeting we had last Saturday. There were about 150 people from various places around the United States and the world who indicated they want to participate in this. And we're not treating it like some kind of typical defense thing, because we think that we have to fight back. And so we actually call it sort of a counteroffensive that we engaged in. So we have to raise a lot of money, because the lawyers are going to cost a lot of money. And we're looking at 2 different states where we're having like to fight from. And also, again, we're not going to be helped by only responding to what their narrative is. We're going to have to be able to fight back and to initiate our own counteroffensive, even in the legal system. So they need to be able to explain how they can be attacking Black people around the right to vote under whatever color they want to use it with, for that. That's what they did. When they came and bombed my house and stole our devices and what have you, now I'm hearing that the reason they're doing that is because somebody told us to run for office and paid us to run for office. And that's the same kind of stuff that 1933, 1950s garbage that was spewed when people named themselves for whom they were. And they say, this is the Klan. We are some white nationalist organization that's telling Black people you can't vote. If you vote, this is what will happen to you. And that's exactly what they're saying now. And there's enough sentiment in this country among sectors of the population. I mean, think about this. Even if they tell this ridiculous story about us, nobody is commenting. They're not commenting on the fact that not only did mobs of white people attack the Capitol to try to overthrow the government and chase the vice president through the halls, talking about hanging him. They're not even talking about that. But they're not even talking about the fact that there are more than 400 pieces of legislation that's circulating in state capitals throughout this country that's designed to minimize the ability of African people to participate in the elections, and that 18 of those states, including the state of Florida, have already passed legislation minimizing the ability of Black people to vote. That's not even on the agenda. Somehow, you raise up this question of Black people who only recently achieved what's supposed to be the right to vote in this country. We are the ones. Black people died, to register to join the Joe Biden's Democratic Party. Black people's churches were bombed to join Joe Biden's Democratic Party. And now his administration is committing the same kinds of offenses that's been committed against us since George Wallace and every other reactionary in this country. And he's saying that, okay, you can vote, but you can only vote and put on the agenda what we want you to talk about. If you do something other than that, because the Russians or some other external force told you to do it. And they can use that as the basis of torture, murder, mayhem, stealing your resources, bombing your houses, threatening yourself and your wife and family. This is what you can do. This is what is being pursued right now in broad daylight. People see this, and people in this country are not stupid. They know the history that Black people have with America. And to say that, okay, suddenly I believe that all of the time these suffering, oppressed Black people whose labor went to this developing the entire economy of this country on stolen Indian land, that somehow they are the problem. People know better than that. And the country is split in 1,000 different ways, and we didn't do it. We didn't do January 6th. The African People's Socialist Party and Omali Yeshitela did not do January 6th. We did not attack the Capitol. We did not chase that white man through the Capitol saying, hang the vice president. We didn't do that. And we didn't put our feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk before she went on this provocative tour to China. We didn't defecate in the offices of the congresspersons. We didn't do that. And yet, somehow, suddenly Black people who've done all this suffering and fighting to actually just for the right to vote, somehow we are the threat to the electoral process, just like the Black Panther Party was defined as the greatest threat to internal security of the United States. What kind of security is it? Well, you've got, they've sent at least easily accounted for $60 billion to Ukraine alone. You got this huge military apparatus and what have you, and you're deploying it on Red Bud Avenue in St. Louis, Missouri, to the most oppressed sector of the population, and perhaps one of the most deep economically depressed places in the country. It doesn't make any sense. It says, what we have to do that's so really very much important is help the people to focus on the reality. You can't understand a process by just looking at where it is at this moment. You gotta investigate the history of that process. How did it get this? Why is it all of a sudden that people are attacking Black people for the right to vote? Is this really incredible that the FBI would do this when every other entity in this country, since electoral politics became something that was possibly on the agenda, has moved to attack Black people's right to vote? Then what's different from the FBI has done? What's different from the deal that Republicans and the Democrats made in 1876 and 77 that with this so-called compromise that took the troops in the South out of the South that was supposed to be able to protect Black people, and that lasted for almost 100 years until 1966 with the Civil Rights passage of the Civil Rights Bill 65 with the passage of the Voting Rights, when the FBI was supposed to be there helping us have the right to vote, and now my house is being bombed because they're saying I'm not voting right, or somehow what George Wallace said was right, what Stennis in Mississippi said was right. That is some kind of outsiders who are responsible for Black people wanting to vote. This is the same line. There's no fundamental difference.